All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of No Cap Reacts. I'm your man Bailey, aka Mr. Go Get 'em. Yep, no intro. Ladies' night will actually have their own intro. I haven't done it yet, so until it's there, you can see my ass for a minute. Tonight, as you guys know, it's a brand new show. It is called Ladies' Night. You will only hear me asking the questions, and that's about it. But before we go ahead and get into that, let's get to... Make sure you tune in. New Friday night show is called Boys Club. Real men, real conversations, real topics. It's kind of like the male version of what you're going to get tonight. All right? Also, with that, you're going to see Couples Retreat. Yep, it is no longer Couples Therapy. It is Couples Retreat. That is still going to be Wednesday night at 7 p.m. And then Thursday nights, as you see tonight, is the first installment of the all-new Ladies' Night. So these shows we're going to be running all year long. Sunday, I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with that yet. So, coming soon to a No Cap Reacts near you. Ladies' Night, the premise of tonight's show is to ask ladies questions. They answer. You're not going to get my input. You're not going to hear from me. Don't even ask. It's just not going to happen. Tonight is strictly about the ladies. Now, I do have a list of questions for all of the lovely ladies that are on the couch. And with that being said, let's go ahead and shut up and get it started. Ladies, say hello.
Hi.
Y'all can do better than that.
Hey.
There we go. There we go. All right. So, two faces you have seen before. One face is brand new. So, what we're going to do is we're going to start with C. Introduce yourself.
I'm Carrie. What would you like to know?
What would you like them to know?
I'm Addison's friend, so she brought me on the show.
All right. Where can they find you at online?
At Carrie Scanlon on Instagram.
All right. Any other place they can find you at?
Nope.
That you want them to know about?
Nope.
Okay.
That's the only one.
All right. And then for, what is your third time on the show?
Yep.
All right. Third time on the show.
Oh, Alexandria Hunter, a.k.a. Starletta, my alter ego. And you can find me, the original Alex Hunter, on Instagram at _original_Alex Hunter. Statements by Alex, which is my jewelry page. Freedom for Strays, which is my clothing line. And The Starletta Show, which is my comedy podcast. And just to overwhelm you a little more with my social media pages, I'm also on TikTok at Starletta's World, and recently came out with an OnlyFans page, a comedy OnlyFans page, which you can follow at the Star. Oh my God, what is it? It's called Starletta's World. Yes, so you can find me on OnlyFans now. that's especially for the conspiracy theorists out there because we get crazy, or we're about to.
All right, and last but not least,
Hey, I'm Addison. This is my third time on the show.
also third time on the show, yes.
Yes. And thank you for having me back. You can find me at AddisonJamesXXX.com, and that is spelled AddysonJamesXXX.com. And there you can find my OnlyFans, my Instagram, and my Twitter links.
And ladies, thank you guys for showing up for the show tonight. Let's go ahead and get the party started.
Awesome.
So we'll start this off we'll do a little icebreaker. Because all of you don't know each other. So what I'll do is, let's start it this way. You guys get to choose the first question. Whatever is randomly in the top of your head, ask each other at least one question.
All right, I got one. How do you guys know each other?
We met through some mutual friends.
Yeah, we did meet at a party.
Through mutual friends.
Through mutual friends, yeah.
All right.
All right. Any questions for Starletta?
How do you manage?
That was my question. How do
Well,
you manage?
I don't.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Basically, how that manifests is like, a little bit of here for like 5 days, and we're gonna move over to the business page for like a week, probably confuse people some more, and then they remember I have the Freedom for Strays line, and then we go back to Starletta, and it's just like a cycle that honestly I need a manager.
Okay. Anyone else? Any craziness?
Is there any nakedness on your OnlyFans?
Not yet. People will have to join to find out.
Okay.
But I literally only have one post up there, so
We need to work on that.
Yes. So that is my main focus right now. I have 3 videos on my Instagram, which kind of gives you a little taste of what to expect.
Okay.
But it's gonna be wacky. It's Starletta's World, so there's Alex on there. I just came out with an alien character who's telepathic, who wants to borrow Starletta's lingerie. So you can expect to see a lot of that on there. And then Jubal, who is the original member in Starletta's World, who had who sold feet pictures on OnlyFans. So there's probably gonna be some foot stuff.
Okay.
And then Alex, me, I do boudoir and swimsuit modeling, so definitely stuff like that. And so does Starletta. So
Okay. Excellent.
yes,
Nice.
a lot of stuff.
All right, so let's go ahead and get this party started. We'll start this off rather slow. All right, so what is your longest friendships? Who is your longest standing friend, aka BFF, aka best friend?
My best friend, I've got since 6th grade, so over 30 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
So again, this is a conversation. I ask the questions, but you guys talk about it amongst yourselves. So all 3 ladies answer questions.
Oh.
Well, I'm married. Excuse me. So a lot of my friendships have kind of like, you get busy with kids and life. So I have some long-term friends, but my best friends, I would say, are people that have come into my life recently, simply because of the season that I'm in.
Sure.
So not to say I don't have, some of my old friends. We just aren't at the same place. So those aren't the people that I spend my time with.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I have a couple friends I've been friends with since grade school that I still talk to, but I'm literally the biggest hermit because I have like 7 businesses, so I don't have time for friends other than the ones I talk to on social media. So all my best friends live in Ohio because I moved from Ohio like a year and a half ago. So hence why I'm like, I need to meet some ladies.
Yes.
Been surrounded by too many dudes lately. No offense. I like the men too, but I need some feminine energy in my life.
Yeah. So you're at the same spot
Yep.
that I am. Like, you just surround yourself with the people who are doing what you're doing right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yes.
and I guess I'm really in the same spot as well.
Yes.
So some of my closest friends right now are people who had only been in my life for a couple of years.
Yeah, same here.
For sure.
But I feel like that's because when you, or at least like the way I see it is as I don't know, as you evolve and change and really grow into yourself. Because I feel like I didn't know who I was as a person until probably 30s, which I've heard from people before. Like, you don't know who you are until you're 30. I'm like, bitch. Well, I guess that's true now. Because now I'm just like, I don't give, like, the older I get, the less fucks I give. And then, which kind of like attracts you, like your vibe attracts your tribe.
Absolutely.
So I feel like the friendships get more like in sync as you get older.
For sure.
All right, ladies. Who are your female role models?
Oh wow, that's a good one.
I have a thing for Megan Fox. I don't really know why, other than maybe because she's like that dark femme, like really confident. And she's into some like woo woo astrology stuff like I am. So I'm like, I dig her. There's probably more. I have to think though.
Oh, that's a good one.
I don't think no celebrity type person for me for sure.
Doesn't have to be a celebrity.
No, I mean
anyone.
I don't know if I have like one particular person, but what I look for in a role model for a female is someone who is really strong, really kind, really confident, who's lived life and had heartaches in life and really understands what it means to be down and then go back up again and get knocked down again.
Yes.
And really just come through every time. Someone that's worked their way through everything. And those are the people that I tend to be more attracted to in friendships and in life, that really inspire me to continue, on my path, whatever I may or may not be going through at that time. So, those are the kind of people that I tend to lean towards.
I have full body chills. Oh, look at that! Those were like some long chills because I resonate with everything you said. 100%. That's like the same thing I look for, and like people who are authentically themselves. They don't give two fucks. They're just like, this is my truth. I'm like, I love that.
I feel like that's who I surround myself with is my tight circle. So I guess in that aspect, those are the people that I look up to. Like one of my good friends, she really works on herself and her self-truth, and we see each other a few times a week, and I just get so connected with her, and it's so nice to see someone who really, digs deep and is authentically trying to be their best. So I guess that's who I gravitate towards.
I also gravitate towards people who are going to call me out and say, Aaron or Addison, you're being a fucking asshole. Like what you did wasn't okay, or what you said hurt my feelings. Because sometimes we get caught up in the moment and we say things or do things we don't even realize we're doing. And we're not trying to be that person. But I need to know that. So please, if you're my friend, I want you to do that to me because I'm going to do the same to you.
Right.
And I will appreciate that. And I need someone to knock me down a peg and say, wow, like, do you even understand what's going on right now? I do now that you brought it to my attention.
Right.
And I need to sit with myself and understand what's going on. So I really, that's also really important. Someone who's not afraid to be honest with me.
100%. You would literally love my best friends from Ohio. That's like my friend Katie and I have that conversation all the time. Like,
However, I will say, being that you're one of my best friends, would never assume that anything that you said, even if it came off in a certain way, came from a bad place.
Sure.
So I wouldn't necessarily be like, oh, you need to knock yourself down. It would be more like, do you realize what that sounded like?
Sure.
So give yourself some credit. You're not a mean girl. You would not.
I try not
you
to
would
be.
not be. So, but yeah, totally. Like, I think friendships like that, like yes, friendships, like yes, man.
No,
I don't need that in my life.
No, absolutely not.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
I'm like very growth oriented in this phase of my life. So you gotta like, be be not afraid to look at yourself and take responsibility. Plus, I feel like it gets you farther in your relationships too, like whether that's romantic or friendship or just all relationships.
I agree.
All right, next question. Can men and women truly be platonic friends?
I think so. I think, well, my husband, I would say, is platonic friends with my girlfriends. Like, and I don't, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I absolutely think that.
That is a really good point. I was about to say we can definitely be platonic friends, or I've had the experience of like if my friend is dating a guy, I'm like, I will never look at you in a sexual way ever. So we are never crossing that boundary because you're my girl. But as far as like guys that don't have any connection to my friends or anything, I feel like even if I am friends, like at least at one point in the journey there is like probably in every male friendship been like just like a tiny little voice, like even if it's not like a strong thing, but there's like, do I like this person? And maybe that's just because like I just feel like I'm a loving, open person like in general, so it's like sometimes I don't know, sometimes that love, I don't know, love is love. So sometimes for me, I guess like in the past it can get confusing between like what's romantic love versus like sexual love versus platonic love, and you know, I've had to get better with boundaries over the years too. I'm a lover.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, going back to Carrie's husband, we're all on like a group text together. So if there's something that I've been talking about and he knows about it, he'll shoot me a text of an article or something that relates to something that's been on my mind. And I also, when I go to photo shoots or things, I make sure you have your location on, Aaron, so we know where you are. So call us, call me, whatever you need. If we need you to come, you need me to come get you. And so I know I can count on that, but there's no alternative. There's nothing behind it, but just pure like friendship, and we just want to make sure you're safe.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that. I have like girlfriends like that, like especially my really close friends. Like their boo becomes, like family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I share Jason. He's a.
I love that.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, next question. What is your sign, and does astrology dictate who you deal with in life?
This is like my dream question. This is so bad. I've been studying astrology for literally over a decade, like probably, I don't know, I've lost count, like at least 15 years, probably more than that now. And I'm so deep into astrology that I'm in, like I know all sorts of things like degree points, houses, rising, moon, Venus, synastry, all of the things. So I always ask people like, what's your birth chart, like when I first meet them, but I've had to make myself stop because I realize that can kind of like give me preconceived notions about somebody. I'll be like, that's your Mars and Aries coming out, or like, oh, that's Sag rising. I'm like, oh, we're a good match. But what I've learned about astrology is you can have really, I guess like it really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter so much because like we're all made up of so many different signs, and to begin with that, every relationship is so unique. So I guess it really just, rather than the astrology, more so comes down to how well does somebody know themselves and how well can they communicate with another person.
Yeah, I'm a Leo.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like I'm definitely have a lot of that in me at times. But I have a lot of other qualities from other signs that are within me. So I don't let it run my life, or that's, I'm not just those descriptive words only. So I don't read too much into it.
Wait, have you ever had like a real or like a extensive birth chart reading, like to find out like your moon and sun? Oh, it's so interesting. And I'm a Libra, by the way. But I'm a Sagittarius rising, which means I'm a fire sign when you meet me, but when you get to know me, more of my Libra and traits come out, so I'm more like balanced and probably like personal life Alex, who's not like putting on my mask that I wear in public, which is more like friendly and outgoing and, goofy. Like when I feel like when people get to know me, I'm more, I don't know, I think people are more surprised, like my close friends, because I'm way more chill than I come off. on camera. Probably. What about you?
I'm a Pisces, and I grew up like a Christian, so I never really believed in astrology, and I don't know if I necessarily believe in astrology. However, like the description of a Pisces is pretty much me to a T. So I'm like, maybe there's something to it. I don't really know, but I don't put a lot of stock in it. Like Jason and I are both Pisces, but on the opposite cusps.
Oh.
And there's so much about us that's like so different, but then there's we're like kind of both just low key, go with the flow people. So I think there must be something to it, but I don't know.
So interesting. My brother and his wife, their birthday, I think they're within a couple days of each other. And then my best friend and her new long-term boo, their birthdays are really close together too. And then this other girl that I was good friends with in Ohio, her and her partner also had birthdays that were really similar. So I don't know, it's like weird. I've noticed that a lot lately. Like maybe there's something to people with similar signs, especially on one end of either cusp. I feel like you have enough in common that you can reach that middle ground, and then there's enough differences that keeps it interesting and exciting.
Yeah, my ex-husband was a Cancer, and apparently Pisces and Cancers are like oil and water. Yeah, so.
See, that makes sense.
Yeah, total sense, yeah. You'll have to give me all the details.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you guys want it, I nerd out on this stuff. And honestly, the first time I had my natal chart read, I cried because it was honestly changed the whole way I viewed God and religion and all that, because I was like, how the hell could like this extensive astrology report know all this stuff about me? It was just crazy. And it really honestly got me on a really creative path, because I found out it's Pisces in your first house. Like if that's like people have different planets in their different houses, and the different houses rule different areas of your life. So like somebody with a fifth house, which is ruled by Leo, which rules children and creativity, if you have a lot of planets there, that gives people a lot of activity in their lifetime. So like those types of people tend to have a lot of children or be very involved with like creativity and self-expression. Somebody like me, I've got a 5-planet stellium in my 10th house, which is the house of career, which kind of makes sense why I have like 5. I'm so focused on career and just like my mission in the world. And 10th house is like the most public, it's like the most public house in astrology. So it's like what, like also it's similar to the ascendant in a way, like that's your mission on earth, and that's like what people see what you're about. But I don't have any planets in my 5th house. So maybe that's why I don't want to have kids, but I've never had like a mothering instinct. Like I love to be a caregiver. That's probably why I don't want kids, because I've been caring for people my whole life, just in a kind of like codependent, like I got you, let me take care of you kind of way. So it's children would just be like, I've got dogs too, and they're like my kids. They require a lot of attention. So I'm like, I'm good on kids right now. I love them, but too much career action.
I love that.
But yeah, anytime anyone wants a reading, I got you.
All right, now we're going to get into some of the juicy stuff.
Ooh.
Y'all ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Does a man's body count matter to you?
Like how many people he slept with?
Yep.
I don't care.
I guess I don't either. Because there's some people I definitely shouldn't have touched. Let's just put it that way.
And there's definitely people I wish I was not a part of the body count.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I was like, wow, how did I let that happen? Like, why am I a part of that? But, we live and learn.
Yep. Exactly.
I don't think it's a problem. I'm pretty sure I had a higher body count than my husband when we got married. So there's that. So no judgment.
Like, nobody seems to care about mine.
No.
So no one cares about body count?
I mean, I guess not. I would say that I do, because what is it? The classes in high school that scared us all about like STDs and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Especially
Sex
like,
ed.
oh, there's no symptoms. You could have this and that. And it's like, like WebMD, my worst enemy.
Oh, yeah.
I hate WebMD.
Ladies and gentlemen, get tested on a regular basis.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Ladies, would you prefer to be in a 100% to 0 or 50-50 relationship/marriage? As in, the man takes care of or is responsible for 100% of the bills, or you split it.
Second one for sure. Giving one person that much power is not a good thing because it comes with a lot of strings attached, in my experience.
I second that. I think when one person has all that power, there's a lot of strings that are attached. I have friends that get an allowance and they are told how much money they can have every month to spend on what they would like. And I think that's crazy. And then even though that's technically their money to spend on whatever they want, they still get a talking to or whatever you want to call it about why would you spend your money on that. So I would not want to live like that.
Me neither.
Okay, well, I'm going to go totally against the grain on
Hey,
this.
keep it interesting. I love it.
So I'm coming up, we'll be married for 24 years in March. And after we got married and I got pregnant with my twins, they put me on bed rest. And so that was child 3 and 4. And so I quit my job. From there, obviously, we wanted me to stay home. And Jason has always been the only one who worked. Like, I've done, little odd things here and there, or like I teach Pilates, but that's more just like for fun for me. That money doesn't really go like into our family money. I mean, I suppose if you're with someone who attaches strings and things like that, but I'm married to like the greatest guy in the entire world.
You really are?
Yeah, there's no. So ladies, choose your men wisely.
Yes.
The main thing I'm telling you, but I've never felt like less than or not equal to him, even though he's always been the breadwinner. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and
Here comes the money.
pretty much get whatever you want.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Money talk.
Here comes the money.
I was about to say, yes, that's a question that could be answered both ways. Because I was gonna say, in a perfect world, yes, I'd love for somebody to cover 100% of my bills. I just haven't met a guy who's okay with that, and I feel like that's just because people in general. I think because. Well, I don't know. I don't know too many people who are just like rolling the dough and they just got like so much abundance that they're like, yeah, baby, spin it. Usually it's like they've got their own bills to carry. So then it's like, like you said, like people will get an allowance. And then if I was footing the bills for somebody and they weren't acting right, I might be a little upset because I've had guys like mooch off me before. And I'm like, bitch, I gave you like, sorry, I don't talk like that. I don't know why I'm acting like that. I'm like,
The real Alex comes out.
I know. That's more like
Bitch, what the
Starletta.
fuck I tell you?
I'm like, my guys, because fun topic, a fun fact about me, I spent like 7 years in Alcoholics Anonymous and various 12-step recovery programs. So, of course, my dating pool for a while was AA, people that were relapsing, who didn't have money, didn't have a car. And I'm like, sure, take the money.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're spending, instead of like their money on food, they're like, cool, cigarettes and alcohol. I'm like, no, I gave that money to you to feed you.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to use it for drugs and alcohol. So, yeah, I get both sides of it.
Yeah, those are definitely the wrong guys.
Yeah.
Those are the red flags.
Exactly.
All right, so in the work environment, would you prefer to have a male or female boss, and why?
I prefer working under a man. Women are catty, bitchy. There's always drama. Men, it's just straight to the point, cut and dry. As long as you aren't a crybaby and don't get your feelings hurt, it's easy to work under a man.
It is not easy for me to work under anyone. Every time I try, I last like a month or two, maybe 6 months tops. But I've literally chosen like the broke artist life over working for somebody else. And I think that's just because like I guess I have a lot of alpha energy. Or a lot of like masculine, just like really focused and driven energy. So it's very hard for me to work under anyone because I'm just like all over the place. I'm like, I have to follow my creative flow. I'm an artist. It doesn't feed my soul if I have to listen to somebody else guide my life, and that goes for work. If that's if I'm gonna end up homeless and living in a car, which I've done before, I'd rather do that than have somebody tell me how to live my life.
I was in the Navy for 5 years, so I worked under a lot of men, which was, fine. And I wasn't a crybaby, so I got along with everyone and all the things. Currently, I work for a woman, and it's been such a joy. She is a pillar of the community in the sense of what she's accomplished in her amazing career, and she values my input and my expertise. So, I have a physician that comes to me and asks me, "What do you think of this? How would you do this?" And that really means a lot to me. So, in general, I would say working in an all-woman environment or working for women can be very catty and exhausting. In my particular regular day job environment right now, I find it very empowering and uplifting.
And that says a lot about the women you work with.
Yeah, it does.
Because, that's really how it should be, right? It shouldn't be a competition. It shouldn't be, we should all be there for the same reason to make whatever it is better.
Yes.
So.
All right, so we have some questions in the chat.
Okay.
Zero Clout TV says fire emojis and says, "It's lit, Bailey. What do they do for work?"
So, my regular 9 to 5 job, I am a laser technician and esthetician, and I've been doing that for over 20 years. So, all things beauty. And do you want to know what my
Your soon-to-be future full-time job?
soon-to-be future full-time job is? I am a adult sex porn worker. So doing all the naughty things, which my regular daytime boss knows about and is completely supportive, which
Oh,
is
so cool.
also amazing.
Yeah.
I can't say enough. She just doesn't want me to leave her, and she says, "Go do your thing. Just be safe and don't use your real name." So I'm really blessed to work for a company that is so open and sex positive in all ways. So I'm very blessed.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I make jewelry. I'm gonna show you guys my big old stones. It's crystal healing jewelry. I do mostly custom work, but
Beautiful.
then I also do tarot readings, astrology readings, and human design readings. And then I have a comedy podcast, working on monetizing that. So we have like a merch line for the Starletta Show, which is now Starletta's World on OnlyFans. So it's kind of like a parody OnlyFans page. But I also do a lot of modeling. So if you are to join my OnlyFans page for Starletta's World, it's gonna be a mixture of comedy and then like modeling, like boudoir, swimsuit kind of stuff, and what else? And I'm also a graphic designer, so I don't know. I do so many different things for money. I also do album artwork for musicians because I'm also a musician myself.
Really? Jack of
I
all
know.
trades.
Yes,
I love
it's
it.
crazy.
I love it.
So yes, I'm a graphic designer, and I can build websites. Not like I can design websites. Let me say that. Not like the
HTML.
yes, not the back end. Right.
Can't code it. You
Yes.
don't code.
I can help build them through like Wix or Squarespace. I did that for my cousin and managed her socials. So I can just, if you need help with anything, just ask.
Girl, we're gonna have to do some photo shoots together.
Yes, I would love that. I love it. I'd love to.
I am a Pilates instructor. I do teach private Pilates from home, and I'm a certified health coach. So I'm in the health space.
Zero Clout, all their links are actually already in the description of the video. I've stopped slacking, and I officially put them in there. And then, hi, Christine, and I'll be hitting you up soon because I need both of you guys actually for a different show. All right. Ladies, do you guys believe in soulmates and why?
Well, I got a quick answer to this one. I definitely think that we have multiple soulmates, and I believe in reincarnation. I believe like that God. Well, this is my beliefs about spirituality is that like God is an ocean. We're all just different expressions of that ocean. We're like different water droplets. So I honestly think like everybody's our soulmate, and just depends on like if I also believe that the universe, is it's like based on mathematics and vibration and frequency. So we're always, at least I feel like we're always shifting timelines or shifting frequencies. So at any given moment, as you're shifting and you're making whatever choices you're making, you're living your life based on your own free will, you're going to align with the other people who are like a match, vibrational match in that timeline, you know, or that reality for you.
I don't know. I agree that there can be many or several, whatever that looks like. I also believe that certain people are put in our lives at certain times, good, bad, or indifferent, to teach us a lesson, whatever that lesson may be. I think if you're able to look at those people and look at those situations and sit back and reflect, you'll realize why they were put in your life. And it's not always easy. I mean, some of it's very, very painful, and there's definitely work that has to be done around it. And but if you're able to really be able to do that work, you can look back and say, okay, I accept it for what it was. I understand the lesson that was learned here. I understand why that person was put in my life, as shitty as it was. I don't know that I'd be where I was if that didn't happen. So I try not to look at my life and say, I regret this, I regret that, I regret this. I mean, there's things I wish that would have happened differently. But throughout my life, those things have turned into better things. And they wouldn't have happened if the thing before it hadn't happened. So I don't have regrets about life. I just keep moving forward and accept things for what they are. Did I do it again?
I've been showing up this whole time. Are you my soulmate? That's Starletta. For real though, I do agree with that 100%.
I totally agree with that, and I absolutely believe in soulmates. Again, my husband, I totally can't say enough good things. I was married and divorced before him, and I'd kind of given up on, like, I was not looking, and we met, and it was just like we just knew. I mean.
But you weren't even like that interested, right? Like
no.
Really, like
well,
when you guys went out or when you met,
when we,
or however it was set up. I remember you telling me.
well,
this.
yeah. So we had mutual friends, and we went out, and I knew he really liked me, and something like I was scared, like something was just different when I was with him. So like, we went. I say slow, but it was really pretty fast. But like, I didn't sleep with him right away.
Yeah.
Like because I liked him. Yeah. Like I liked him a lot, and I wanted to make sure that I was not gonna fuck it up. Really, is what I didn't want to do. But I mean, once like we knew, and things moved really fast. Like. We got married in like 6 months. Yeah. And we've never looked back. So I think not to say we haven't done a lot of work, but I definitely always felt like he was the one God made for me.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, no question.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you said that because that's perfect segue into the next question. Ladies, do you think that sleeping with a man on the first night will ruin a relationship? Or the chance at a relationship?
No and yes. It depends on the situation for me and the person. I think sometimes it kills the mystery of it. And sometimes sometimes, I don't know, I've dated people where I'm just like, you're so attractive physically. And we have like not that much else in common. But they're so physically attractive that I'm like, I don't care if you don't have that much of a personality. I know what this is. And, that's sometimes, like, you're just in a space, like, that you just need that in your life. Those have been, those types of, I guess, flings, shall we call them, have been during periods where I'm, like, more career-focused or healing from a breakup. And it goes along with, like, what I believe about soulmates, like, when people are here for a reason, season, or a lifetime. Like, so for me, I'm like, I feel... they're probably my soulmate, but for them, they're probably just like, well, we just like hooked up, whatever. But I'm like, whatever. You're here when I needed you. So to me, that's a meaningful connection. Whatever happens, and I never look at relationships like wanting to get something out of somebody. I did that a lot when I was younger, like looking for somebody to complete me.
Sure.
Or like feeling like I had to find the one just because like all my aunts and stuff were asking, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? And now it's like the older that I get, I've had so many relationships, like long ones, short ones, whatever. And I love love. I love dating. But yeah, sometimes it feels right to hook up the first night, and that can turn into like a 6-month relationship, a year-long relationship, and sometimes it fucks it up right away. And you're like, I really wish I would have waited,
But that goes back to like what Addison was saying about like people come in for a season. Like you probably didn't fuck it up. It was probably just meant to be that one night. You got what you wanted, and you're on your way.
Yep.
And we need to normalize women empowering themselves for sex like that.
Yes.
And it is absolutely okay for a woman to just want a one-night stand.
Yes. I think for too long it's the good old boys club and what boys do and their one night stands or this and that. It's okay. And, you know, they can get those notches on the bed. And the women do it and we are looked at and looked down upon for that. And we are not marriage material.
Yeah.
We're not girlfriend material. We're not, I'm going to take her home to mom material because, oh my God. Well, I'm sorry. It's not that way. And we do need to normalize it. And it is okay. It doesn't make the man a bad person and it doesn't make the female a bad person. No.
Yeah. And you know that like witches, like way back in the day, you know, like before, like around the time where they burned everyone on the stake. I think I like read somewhere once that like witches they had many lovers and because they were so powerful that they just didn't need, you know, a man. I think like society kind of sets us, not saying like it's right or wrong or whatever to like have someone or not have somebody. I'm just saying like the majority of society, I think we live in a society that's a little more structured where we've been kind of not brainwashed is the wrong word, but I'm conditioned.
Conditioned
yes,
for sure.
It's brainwashed.
it's a nicer way of saying it, but we've been conditioned, you know, from society to have that partner. But I think times are changing. I see it in my astrology readings too with a lot of my clients. I'm seeing that, you know, maybe back in the older days of humanity, there's more, I guess, like traditional gender roles, but now energy and people who are, you know, coming into this world or souls that are being, you know, incarnated on this earth. I just feel like gender and sexuality is becoming so fluid and just, you know, school you guys on some little new age astrology stuff. Like we're moving into the age of Aquarius, which is all about personal truth, personal freedom. If you've ever met anybody with strong Aquarius placements, they're rebellious, they're freedom seekers and truth seekers, and they're a little more detached, but it's also like free love. And I think like, I don't know, like some people might think of like free love as a slut or whatever you derogatory thing, but I'm personally at a place like I feel empowered knowing that, you know, I'm strong enough in myself and like with myself that if I just want, you know, a one night thing or 2-week thing or 3-week, whatever, 3-year thing, like I'm comfortable saying that and communicating that. And I think that's intimidating to a lot of men because they're stuck in that old paradigm of like, no, you're supposed to be like a good housewife that I can control. I'm like, no, that's not the basis of love and a, you know, a equal relationship, and which is like what I seek these days. I'm not going to settle for anybody who tries to control me or, you know, limit or change who I am.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. You know, I got into the adult industry very recently, you know, this summer, and but I did it strictly based on I'm ready to do this for myself. I don't know what's going to happen with it. I might do one video and be done, and and I was going to be happy with that. And then all of a sudden, things started moving along, and I said, "Oh, they think I'm good at this. I think I'm good at it too. Like, let's keep going." And so I don't hide the fact of what I do when I meet somebody, because I'm not ashamed of what I do. And if that prevents them from wanting to ask me out on a date or something, that has more to do with them than it has to do with me. Without having a real honest conversation. I'm sure there could be fear around that and what that kind of job looks like, being in a relationship with someone or maybe even being a friend with someone like that. But I think you have to have the conversation and be open to ask those questions, which I'm open to tell, before you can decide that. Again, communication's key in any friendship or lover relationship.
100.
I mean, I grew up and started our marriage in the church. And I just think we need to change our perception of sex. Now, in a marriage, should it just stay between a man and woman if that's what they choose? Yes. Like, I don't agree with cheating or anything along those lines, but why does sex have to be so deep? Why can't it just be a fun physical thing?
But I thought y'all liked it deep.
You know? So I think, like, with Addison pursuing this for her now, you know, or you meeting a guy and you just want to hook up with him one time, like, that's okay. Like, it doesn't have to be a new marriage, or, you know? So I just think we really need to change our attitude around sex and what's okay and what's not okay.
Yeah.
And you know what's really cool? I got chills right now. I've been chilling up this whole time. I don't. Maybe it's just cold in here. But I'm noticing too, like when I was setting up my OnlyFans page, there's so many bots on there, and people, like when I came across like certain people's profile, I'm like, they look dead in the eyes. And but then when you see somebody, and it's interesting because like when I saw you on the show, you know, a couple weeks ago, or whatever that was, I could like feel your vibrancy and your truth and authenticity, your kindness, just like your energy through, you know, observing you on the TV. And I'm like, that is what the adult industry needs, because it's like, I honestly think it's like a noble mission in a way, because like you're expressing yourself, and when you love what you do, I think you change the people around you, and you influence them in a positive way. So if that, you know, and I think since the world's changing so much, I'm getting a lot of backlash. I know from like my friends and family, you got an OnlyFans? And I'm like, I got an OnlyFans. What about it? you know, like it doesn't, and I think there needs to be a space for positive sex relationships that aren't just based on just like these horrible paradigms of like abusing people who don't want to be abused. Now, if you like being abused, that's a different story, because some people are into that. So like, do you, but it's like the things that I don't like to see, that make me sad to see, are the people who are forced into it that don't want to be doing it. Sure. And then when people are watching pornography or whatever, they're absorbing that negativity, and I feel like it's keeping people kind of like spiritually sick. When if they're a little more like cognizant or like intentional about like who and what they watch, they may actually like pick up on the good energies, you know, through the screen or wherever they're watching.
And I mentioned it in the last show. You know, I pick and choose what jobs I want to do. I do not say yes to everything. I say no to a lot of things, and I have my reasons why, and it's okay. And I, you know, part of my platform is really letting sex workers know you don't have to say yes. Yeah, they're going to entice you with the money and the this and the that, but it's okay to say no, and somebody else is going to email you or call you with another job. And you should not feel upset about that. Do you, and do what makes you comfortable. And whatever fits your brand, it's okay. So I just really think more women, especially in the industry, need to be okay with using their voice. That industry is run by a lot of men, a lot of powerful men. But the more we start saying no, the more things are going to turn around better for us. And I truly believe that.
Me too.
So here's a good question then, in reference to the women and it being empowering. If sex is so empowering to women, why do so many put themselves in the celibacy ranks when things don't work out for them?
I can definitely answer that, because I'm going through a period of celibacy right now. And let me tell you, same thing, kind of like what you were going off of. Like, if the energy is not right, and if I don't feel like I'm approached in the right way, then I don't have any interest in, you know, sleeping with somebody. But also, celibacy can be a way for somebody to focus on career, which is also like what I'm focused on right now. Also, I'm a very empathic, sensitive person, and the last like handful of guys I've dated wanted my time. I live an hour away, you know, from Phoenix. I'm sorry, but I don't want sex that bad that I'm gonna leave what I'm doing. I really like what I'm doing at home, and I have dogs. I love my dogs, and I hate to say it, but most of, you know,
Your dogs are going to be there.
My dogs are going to be here for the long haul, and I have a blast with them just sitting at home. And I know also that when I'm ready to have intercourse and intimacy with somebody, like, I can go out there when I'm ready for it.
I think it's also really empowering to say, I don't want to sleep with anybody right now. And I'm okay with that. And I'm happy about that. It doesn't have to be a sad thing. It's not depressing. I mean, I've gone long periods of time without wanting to have sex.
Yeah.
I'm happy at being at home masturbating.
Yes,
and
exactly.
and that's the only thing, and that's enough for me. And there's no drama, there's no conversation.
Exactly.
And it's just time for me to really just be with myself and my own thoughts and feelings and body. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I think that's also important. And I think that's a time to take away the growth that you can learn from that.
And it's the same reason that men, why do men not want a girlfriend? Because it's easier for them to beat off at home and not have to deal with a girl nagging them.
Actually, it's easier to just pay for it.
What'd you say? Well, that too. I mean, sometimes yeah,
I've
for real
seen
though.
plenty of men that will just pay for it and send them on their way
Sure.
because you still there's hand and vagina do not compare.
Well, I agree with you there.
All right, next question. Is love enough to keep a relationship together?
No,
No.
it's not there. I can speak to this recently. I was in a relationship for 2.5 years, and I loved that person wholeheartedly, no questions asked. I was loyal, as loyal could be. We did have an open relationship, and that's how we met. So, that was fantastic. And he still cheated on me, even though he had permission to just let me know, and you can kind of do what you want. And yet, for him, it was the thrill of being able to sneak around. It was all those things. So I literally gave him everything he wanted, and he still couldn't do the right thing because he was that fucked up. And I, the love just wasn't enough. There was no trust. There were no boundaries. There was a lot of things missing. And, there came a time where I said, I've done what I can do, and enough is enough, and I'm not going to tolerate this behavior anymore. I deserve better. But love just wasn't enough.
And that is why women choose celibacy. That right there is
Exactly.
exactly why women pull
100.
back
Yes.
from sexual activity
Yeah.
because of dumbasses like that.
Yeah.
I can say that
Yeah.
100%. And
Yeah.
that's funny because I just had a really serious a similar situationship. And I'm like, I don't know. I need honesty and trust more than anything. And I'm a very open-minded
Yes.
person too. And, I've been in phases where I want to be monogamous. And then but I'm also like, I'm a weird person. I don't know if like, this is a cool thing, like would be a cool thing for a man or not, but I'm just kind of like, listen, if you want to have an open relationship, I'd be open to it, but I'm also open to monogamy. Like, what do you want? Let's talk about this and have this conversation, because I literally could go either way, or maybe we could just approach it as a day-by-day thing, and then if you meet somebody that you're attracted to, maybe you have a connection with them, you want to sleep with them, like that's hard to deal with jealousy, but if life is hard in general, and it's even harder and worse if you're gonna sneak around and go behind somebody's back. So I don't know. I just haven't met another person with like that same level of honesty and integrity. So it just turns me off from dating, like period.
I think to have a solid love, you have to have a really good friendship first.
Yes. Absolutely.
Like,
100%.
if I didn't like my husband as a person, there would not be enough, like love just wouldn't be enough. You have to want to spend your time with that person and share things, and that's how you end up with a good, deep relationship. It just can't be love. I mean, I love my dog, but you know what I mean? Like, it has to be more. So love is definitely not enough.
Yep. Me too.
All right. This one's gonna be a doozy. You have to absolutely choose one. Okay. 2 women and 1 man, or 2 men and 1 woman in a forever relationship. And why did you choose what you chose?
That's easy for me.
Yeah, right?
Okay. Definitely 2 women and 1 man, for sure. and why. I think it would be, well, for me, I like women also, so so that's like the added bonus. But I think to maintain like a 3 relationship, it would be easier for me to have a relationship with a female and a man, where I could only have to give the energy to one man versus like 2 men. Yeah. And I think with a female, you have like such a good friendship on top of I'm assuming there'd be sexual if you're, I'm assuming that's where we were going, but definitely 2 women and a man.
That's a tough one for me because I feel like there's benefits to both. So it's kind of like, what you feeling that day? Because I'm like, I mean, I've definitely dated 2 guys at once who were both okay with it. They didn't care. So I'm like, I'm in heaven then. I'm like, I got variety. I love variety, but I'm also like, I'm into women, but I've never dated a woman. So I'm also like, that would be cool. Maybe sometimes like you want that, variety in that way too. I don't know. I'm sure you do different things with a girl than with a guy. So depends on the day.
I think I'm on the same lines as Carrie. 2 women in 1 man. Even in my previous relationship, even though it was open, I never wanted to be with another man. And I had the opportunity to, and I just didn't crave that. But I enjoyed the 3 of us, or the 2 of us, being with another woman. That was always really fun for me, and the friendship that came out of it and things like that. So that would be my choice.
So what do you guys think of the show so far?
Fun.
I think it's great.
What do you guys think of the questions?
Good.
They're really good.
They're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Are women truly from Venus, and are men truly from Mars?
I did read that book when I was 19, and it has served to be true, especially now that I'm certified astrologist. Well, actually, I'm not literally certified, but certified as in I know way too much about it and I've seen too much in all the readings and experiences I've had that I definitely think so. But also going back to what I said earlier about sexuality, like, and gender becoming so fluid as society grows and changes, and like the more, the internet, and I just feel like sexuality is just becoming way more fluid. So I'm noticing too, which is a very interesting trend in all the birth charts I read, there's a lot of men who I read for who have more feminine planets and energy in their chart, and a lot of females that have more masculine energy, which is interesting, which could also explain kind of like the typical toxic cycle that that a lot of the population is in, where it's kind of like toxic masculinity and the crazy girl, or whatever, however that manifests. And I think that's because a lot of men these days seem to be like, they don't go after what they want. And I feel like women like have become so alpha because we've had to be in this society. It's like we have to have the kids and then work on top of it, and then do this, and then most of us are also taking care of a man because he's emotionally immature and stunted, so then you also have to wear that hat. So it's like making women more alpha, and women, like, at least for me, like, I don't feel sexual attraction. Like, I need to be with a motherfucking man. Like, if you want something, go for that shit. I'm becoming more attracted to alpha females lately in the last couple of years than men, because like I'm just like not interested. I want somebody who knows what they want,
Yeah. I agree.
I never read the book, but I will definitely say men and women are so different. Like, and as we should be. There's a place, right? Like you, like I want to be around masculine men. Take charge, be the boss. I mean, I obviously am going to have a say.
Right.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
like I'm going to have a say, but I want to know someone's got me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I want to know that someone's got me, and is going to challenge me. I like, I don't want a yes man. I think that's boring, and it's not going to work. That's definitely important to me.
I was gonna say there's a fine line, because I know I just did say, "Oh man, that goes what he wants," but I think that gets twisted a lot, because especially when there's like alcohol involved and you, for like, I don't know, like in my 20s, like when I was like in all those situations where it's like you're around a bunch of people drinking stuff and then somebody tries to like hook up with you and then you're like no, and they think that it means to try harder. Right. So not in those situations. No, that's a quick way to get fucking slapped and not even feel. I'm sorry, I won't slap anybody, but that is rape. Just if you don't, if you continue to try after somebody says no and you're not listening to their words, it doesn't matter what their body is saying. You need to respect that. So just message for the people out there that think that means to try harder. No, women, we're not a challenge, and you need to respect us, or you're going to lose our respect and end up single and beating off every night,
or in jail,
also.
Okay. When you're speaking to a man, or when a man approaches you, would you rather a man ask you for your phone number or for your social media handles?
I want a man to ask me my name. So a man that walks up to me, what up? You know, and doesn't take the time, and it's happened so many times in my life. It doesn't actually ask, oh, you're hot, or you got big tits, or you're beautiful. I don't care. You want to talk to me? Let's start with my name. And then we can talk. And that's just where I stand on that.
100. That's a tough call. I think it all depends, like, for me, like, where I'm at, and that, I don't know, I think, I kind of like to kind of scope people out on social media first, even though it's not always 100% accurate representation. It kind of gives me an idea, like, what are you into? Are you only posting beer pictures and picture of you fishing with your buddies, or are you posting, like, do you have, you know, intellectual quotes? Do you have a dog? Do you have children? Do you have a wife? These are all good things to know. And I'm sketched out if somebody doesn't let me have their social media. Like, if they don't add my social media after we've been talking for a couple days, I'm like, what are you trying to hide?
Yeah.
What if they don't have any?
Unless you don't have a social media.
And there are some people who don't. But
Then
what if they don't want to be judged?
Then they're not going to get in my energy field.
All right. What is the first thing that you notice about a man? Face, shoes, how he smells, his physique, or his personality?
Face and personality for me. Honestly, I have a weakness for I like long hair, or like different hair, or something unique and different, and I love like beards. That's just like my personal preference, like what I look for. But if that is coupled with like no personality, then I'll lose attraction super fast. And the same can be said about somebody who's maybe not my physical type, but I talk to them and they have like some swag about them. I'm like, okay, I can go with this. Like, you're cute.
I'm attracted to smell and personality. Like, I'm really sensitive to smells, so they have to smell good. So, and personality for sure. Yeah.
So for me, you didn't mention this, but teeth.
That was what I was gonna say. Was teeth. Yeah.
Teeth are huge for me.
Yeah.
And personality. You know, you can tell a lot by someone's personality. You know, I still want someone to be kind and be a good human being, and you know. And their teeth. You gotta take care of your teeth, guys.
So true.
Like, everyone, brush your teeth, brush your tongue. Just that's important to me.
And they could be the hottest guy in the room, but if their personality's bad,
it's over.
I would rather a chubby guy than an asshole, super hot guy.
Same.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be the last question of the night. This is a little bit of a humdinger, too. Okay? All right. Who gaslights the most? Men, or do women gaslight themselves on the said man?
Both, I think. I don't know. This is like a very interesting one for me, because I feel like, and part of the reason I've also chosen to be celibate for a while and focus on myself and my healing, because I had a boyfriend not too long ago that was very much a gaslighter, but would or I don't know. I don't even like to use those terms because I think people don't understand what they mean. And I think people get like locked into this whole social media definition of it, and they just they misuse the word all the time. So what's happened to me is like, I know a lot about psychology and, you know, energy and healing. And again, I spent like 7 or so years in like AA and recovery programs where you're doing a lot of like 12-step, or you're doing a lot of like personal work, and you're learning about psychology and like these terms like in the real way that they're, you know, from actual psychologists, not just people on the internet saying, you know, making up a story to like suit their own narrative, which I've had a lot of men do to me. And they were typically the men who had not been to therapy, who had not done any personal growth, and who blamed other people for their problems, who were master manipulators. The type of people who, and this kind of like reminds me of cancel culture, where people are like screenshotting like 1 or 2 sentences, but they're doing it out of context. So my response to your abuse might seem like I'm crazy, but I assure you, if you threaten to throw a brick through my house, or threaten my family, or message all my lovers, you know, potential lovers after we break up, and tell them like to stay away from me and XYZ, I'm going to get really fucking mad. And then I've had people say that, you know, it's toxic that I'm mad or that I'm standing up for myself. And that's where I think like people misuse the term. Because to me, like standing up for your boundaries, I don't know, it depends on how you say it. It's like, you know, it's kind of like to the other thing where it's like, if somebody, you know, hits you, if you hit him back, it doesn't make it right. And that's not what I'm talking about. Because that, you know, in that instance, it's like both people are pretty toxic and have something to work on. But I'm more so talking about, yeah, just like I don't think it's productive to blame, or to, in a conversation with a partner, to be like, you're gaslighting me. Because then it's like it's like you versus me. And that's not what relationships are about. It should be like, okay, what's this issue that we're having together? We're on the same team. So how can we talk this through? And I think it's a kind of like difference between men and women in my experience too. It's like, I feel like women are more open to talking about our feelings, while men live more in the like, well, it has to be right or wrong, and I have to be logical about it. And that is not, like, that's why I think a lot of relationships fail, because people fail to understand like how to properly communicate. And then they use, like, they're just using those terms, which is not.
So what is the actual definition from like a psychology standpoint of gaslighting?
There isn't one, actually.
No, really?
There is no such thing as actually gaslighting. It's like totally made up.
Huh.
Essentially, so an example of gaslighting would be like, we're outside and the sky is blue, and I see it's blue, you see it's blue, and Addison sees that it's blue, and then somebody else is here and they're like, no, it's green. And we're like, what? No, it's blue. No, you're crazy. You're clearly not seeing it right, and you have been through, you know, you got punched in the face when you were little, so you know your eyesight's a little bad. And then it's kind of like breaking somebody down and putting a lot of attention on, like, you know, sprinkling them with a lot of self-doubt. I think like people who are more open to compromising and people pleasing are more likely to be gaslit in that way, because they're people who want to compromise with somebody. They're more likely to like
To keep
give
to keep
instead
the
of
peace.
taking. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, essentially, you know, but I think when you get to a certain point, like the point that I've gotten in my own personal and spiritual development, like I think at a certain point I kind of like crossed the threshold of like kind of getting angry when I feel like somebody's starting to do that, because it's been done to me so many times. I think it's because I mean, I'm not trying to sound like a saint or anything, but I am like a really caring person, and I care about compromising, and I put a lot of energy into like my own self-growth and healing. So I kind of expect that, or I, you know, would like that in a partner, and I try to educate people on it in a loving way if they don't know about it. And I've gotten a lot of like, well, you're crazy and blah, blah, blah. And it's always from the men who literally don't want to do any growth, no therapy, will never admit that they're wrong, because to admit that they're wrong would be the death of them, you know?
Anyone else?
I mean, I have also been in the rooms of AA. I've been sober for 14 years. And although I haven't been in the rooms for the last
Me neither.
6 years,
Me
I'm
neither.
still sober. So I went, I learned a lot of psychology and in a lot of studying and things like that. And yeah, it can be a scary place to be gaslighted, and it happens a lot. And some people, again, they don't even know that it's happening in the moment. It takes sometimes getting out of those relationships or friendships or whatever to realize, oh my God, this is what was actually happening to me. Because you're just trying to people please, or you're trying to be a loving, kind person, and you want to just settle everything, so you compromise, and you compromise because you think that's the right thing, because you're trying to save your relationship, and you don't want to fight, and you don't want to this, and in fact, you're just being belittled and told that you're crazy and that you're not worthy and you're not this and you're not this, and it can really break your self-confidence down in all those things. So yeah, that is a real thing, and it's something you need to really look out for. And I'm not saying that, every time something comes up, start an argument and I'm the one who has to be right. I'm happy to say I'm wrong, or I don't understand the subject, like, please educate me. But being with someone who always demands being right and what they say goes just doesn't work for me.
Same. Very well said.
So to your question, I would say men do it more than women.
Yeah.
Because men don't like to deal with feelings.
Correct.
So it's easier just to project
Yes.
and tell someone that they're crazy, to kind of like, they just really want to get out of the whole situation. And so that's the way that they deflect. And so I would say men,
Yeah, absolutely.
overwhelmingly.
Yeah.
Not to say there's not women who
Yeah.
do it, but I think that's more a trait for men, because they're not as emotionally, is mature the right word? Or emotionally open to deal with
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
I'd say that's a rather accurate assessment. And again, agreed, there's definitely a lot of women that can be that way too. I think it definitely comes down to the person and just like their level of I don't know, like, we're not, like, I definitely went through a period of life where I wasn't ready to look at myself in the mirror. And I like, for me, when I had, like, that awakening, when I finally was ready to look at myself in the mirror, it kind of happened, like, out of my control. It was like a lightning bolt came down and God or the universe was like, oh, you're going to focus on yourself right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can't fault people if they're, you don't know what you don't know. So that's the other thing that gets me in trouble, where it's like, I just understand, like, kind of what you said earlier, like, it is what it is. There's always a lesson or a blessing, and usually a blessing comes right after the lesson. So I kind of like view everything from the lens of like, this is going to work out, even if it's not working out right now. I know it's going to work out because this is making me stronger. So I kind of like give people a lot more slack than they deserve a lot of the time. But then at the same time, I feel like, as much as like those really messed up relationships have brought me down, it almost is like, I kind of compare it to like a wind up toy where somebody's like breaking you down so much and you're sinking, but it's almost like once you hit your breaking point, you're like, woo, like catapulted forward, and then you're like, woo, sorry, I'm light years ahead of you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we are who we are based on the things we've gone through. And I feel like it just makes you a better, more aware person. Like, I'm never mad for the lessons or the situations, because then I can help the next person, or I know how to get through something because of a situation.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people do themselves a disservice by being so afraid to like admit that they're wrong, because you can have so much growth. I mean, I admit that I'm wrong all the time.
Yeah.
Even sometimes when I'm not, just to keep the peace. And I'm like, and also because I don't believe that person has the cognizant ability to like have a real conversation about it. So you just sometimes have to deal with people at their level of consciousness and just be like, even if I try to have a real conversation with you, like, you're not going to get it. And that's not me judging you, but that's like real experience that I'm having, where like certain people are just like really stubborn. They're just where they are, and you're not going
just have to
convince
accept
them.
it.
Well, it's not worth your peace.
Yes,
It's not worth
exactly.
your peace to try and convince them or to
Just
open
accept
their
them for where
eyes.
they're
Yeah.
at
Yep.
and walk away.
Yep.
And that's okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's mature.
Yes.
See, that's a mature response to
Yes.
situations, for sure.
All right, we have a bonus question that came in through text.
Oh.
This question says, ladies, are you looking for a man to take care of you, that has money or someone who can be there for and support you in life emotionally, love you, and support all your life choices. Which is more important to you? Someone that can basically finance you, or someone that's going to be there for you emotionally, mentally, and support all of your choices.
Number 2. I'll take emotional support
Oh yeah,
over money any day because money comes and goes.
Yep.
The person that I'm with, that emotional support should never change. That love should, yes, things evolve, but that's what I'm always going to want. I'm going to always want to support them. I'm going to always want them to support me, and even if I'm wrong or whatever, we can have that discussion, but they're going to love me regardless. And at the end of the day, that is the number one thing for me.
same.
Agreed.
Good stuff.
All right.
Real good stuff.
Great show, ladies. Well, this is your first time on the show. What did you think?
It was fun.
And then for my, I guess it's my
The veterans.
my
now?
double triplets.
I thought it was great. I thought we had some
Yeah,
really good
me
conversations.
too.
And I thought the questions were actually really good.
Yeah, same. Yeah, it was great.
I do my best.
Yeah, no, they were good.
I didn't know what to expect.
I didn't either.
I know. I was like, are we gonna get asked like, would you rather have somebody come on your face or come on your butt? I was prepared to answer that. I'm glad I didn't have to though.
Well, no. I'm thinking that in 2024, the channel is going to go back more towards the educational self-help.
Yes.
I gotta have one night of that where it's the male and female perspective,
Sure.
and then I have the fun night, and then the couples night.
Yeah.
So
I love it. I love what you do. I think you have an amazing setup. You're so easy to talk to. Your questions are always good. I've always had fun too.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be back.
and this is my thing. This is where you guys as ladies get to voice your opinions, and no man has to be like, no this or no that or no that. Like, so like you can go through, other ladies can go through, watch the show, and they'd be like, yeah, I resonate towards that. And then guys, guess what? For my guys that are out there, you guys actually get to see the thought process of women. This one is a little different because we actually have one woman that's on the show that's actually married. So that's a super bonus because you get to hear the married woman's version as well. And then what's going to be great is I'm going to have 3 men on the show. And the questions don't change.
Oh, I like that.
I know. I'm definitely. Is the next one tomorrow?
It's not tomorrow.
Oh, it's not.
tomorrow. It's coming soon.
Good. I'm excited.
I'm interested to hear
Yeah,
that.
me too.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
and I think
Yeah.
that that makes for some great social media clips too, just to hear the side by side answers. Like, that'd be very interesting.
And then guess what?
What?
In the future,
Gonna bring them all together.
no.
Oh.
That would be nice, but I would need a huge studio
Yeah.
after a couple of months.
Yes.
I probably have like same groups of ladies have you guys return, and we actually do a reaction to one of the male shows, and then the same group of guys can come and do a reaction to like the ladies show,
Okay.
and you guys actually get to hear a true live reaction and see live reactions of like how men and women typically are. Because one of the biggest things that I've realized in today's society, modern dating, is men and women don't quite get each other, right? So the reason I want to stay out of the conversation is it's the voice of the woman, and no one else needs to come in and say anything. And then the same thing with the guys. It's the voice of the man, and no one needs to come in and say anything. But it's great. It's a great tool for learning each other because we do think differently. There's a lot of things that I could have responded to, right? But I mean, that's the best thing about self-control.
Good job. I know. You must have had a lot.
Having self-control and discipline will get you a long way in life.
Absolutely.
So, I definitely want to say I appreciate you ladies showing up tonight. This is a great show. Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year.
You guys are also the first show of 2024. You guys are the first show of Ladies Night.
I think we set the bar pretty high.
I know that I've enjoyed it. I'm definitely down to come back
Yeah.
if we're invited back for those reaction videos.
Well, trust me.
Especially because I feel like I've been extra feisty. I'm like on one tonight. I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna rewatch this clip at some point and be like, why did I say that?
It is. This is the thing. I think what people find out quickly is when you come here, you can actually be the truest version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's very relaxed.
Yes.
It is a little cold for a reason. It keeps people up. It keeps their attention. It keeps you on your toes. And it keeps you healthy.
Yeah.
Because I Clorox wipe the hell out of the couches and the mics and everything after every show.
Yes.
And I'm a huge germaphobe. So.
Nice.
Any questions? Anything you guys want to say? Any last thoughts?
No, I appreciate the other ladies coming on, and I definitely learned some things from them, which I think is always exciting. And I'm looking forward to more of your ladies' night shows and really seeing how this progresses. I think it's going to be really fun, and in the men's show as well.
Well, coming soon. Again, for the people that don't know, I actually broke my arm the couple days before Christmas. Well, not my arm, my elbow. The day after Christmas, I had a plate and 3 screws put in. Today, I actually went and saw the doctor, and they removed all the other stuff, which is why I'm actually finally fucking wearing a hoodie. I can almost lift my arm all the way. Still got a little bend in it. I got to straighten that out and work on that, but we'll be there. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys tune in for all the new shows. Tonight, started off, Ladies Night. We got a spectacular show for you guys next Thursday at 7 p.m. All new Boys Club coming up. Look forward to that. I say give me about a week or two. I'm going to start booking those up. Boys Club will be Friday nights at 9 p.m. You've got Couples Retreat. No longer Couples Therapy. It's Couples Retreat. That's going to be Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Welcome to 2024. Welcome to No Cap Reacts. Oh, and let's make sure you go to hustlefit.com. Get your merch as well as the clothing line itself. It is hustlefit.com. You've got men's, you've got women's, you've got children. We also do custom if you need uniforms, custom shirts, whatever it is. Go ahead and hit us up at hustlefit.com, hustlefit@gmail.com, or hustlefit LLC on Instagram. With that, definitely want to say thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of No Cap Reacts. I'm your man Bailey, a.k.a. Mr.